All right, I hereby call this meeting into order. I am the special magistrate for today's hearing. I want to begin by explaining how the process is going to work. But generally, we hear the building cases on the agenda first, and the city will call the cases as they appear on the agenda. If you've appeared at today's hearing, which if you have, if you're sitting here, your case will be called before those where no one has appeared, but that is only true if you have signed in. So please make sure if you have not to go back and sign in at the table entering the chamber. Once your case is called, I ask that you come down to the podium on my right-hand side, which is right over here. The city will put on its testimony and evidence first. You'll have an opportunity to review this evidence and ask questions of any of the city's witnesses. You'll also have an opportunity to testify and present me with your own evidence. Once I have all the evidence on testimony, I will make a ruling. I will enter a written order either today or in the next few days, which you'll receive a copy of. If you have any questions as we go through the process, please feel free to ask them. This is not a formal courtroom. The formal rules of evidence do not apply here. Now, although this is not a formal courtroom, all testimony given today is under oath under penalty of perjury. So I'm going to ask if you're going to testify or you think you might testify or there's a possibility that you might testify. Would you please rise and raise your right hand so I can swear you in? Anyone that's going to testify? You have to stand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Florida?
I do.
Please be seated. City can call the first case.
Case number 4, CE 24062-185, case address 308 Clematis Street.
Yes.
Anytime you're ready, Officer Francis.
Good morning. Jay Francis, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance. 308 Clematis was cited on 6/4/24. Certified mail and regular mail was sent on 6/26/24. Hand delivery was done by former Officer Alex Oliver on 6/28/24. I have not been in contact with the property owner. There's a representative here today. The property was cited for sidewalk cafe permit and failure to comply. As of this morning, the violation is not complied. Therefore, the city is requesting an additional 60 days for the property to come into compliance. If they do not come into compliance within the 60-day time frame, then the city is requesting $150 a day until compliance is achieved.
Good morning, Officer Francis.
Morning.
Considering that there needs to be, do you know if a permit was pulled or a permit was applied for?
So the application process has started. That is why the city requested 60 days.
Do you believe
to get
60 days is a reasonable amount of time?
It should be enough to get it done.
Okay, Special Magistrate, I'd like to enter the case file, including the testimony of the code enforcement officer into evidence barring any objection.
No objection.
Without objection, I'll accept an evidence the evidence case file in this case, the city's composite exhibit 1. Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Yes, Labid Chaudhry, L-A-B as in Bravo, E-E-D as in Delta, last name C-H-O-U-D as in Delta, H-R-Y.
Can you pronounce your last name for me one more time?
Chaudhry.
Chaudhry?
Close enough.
Sorry. I'll do my best. Mr. Chaudhry, the city is alleging that you're operating a sidewalk cafe without a permit, and they want to give you 60 days to obtain that permit.
Okay, we're already in the process. The permit was already applied for. The city is requesting some revisions, and we're in the process of finalizing those revisions.
Is 60 days a sufficient amount of time for you to get this done?
We were hoping it would be done before today's hearing, but 60 days should be more than sufficient. If we do need more time, we're already in touch with the city. I highly doubt that it'll take any more time than that, but if there's any issues, we'll certainly let everyone know.
All right, sounds good to me. All right, in case CE 24062-185, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. Find the property in violation of listed code section, specifically operating a sideway cafe without a permit. I'm going to give the respondent 60 days to obtain that permit, or a fine of up to $150 per day may issue. It's important that when you get the permit and everything is done, that you make sure you reach out to the code officer so that they can comply you, okay?
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Case number 5, CE 24031-602, case address 125 Datura Street.
Good morning, Code Officer Jay Francis, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance. Presenting on behalf of former officer Alex Oliver. 125 Dartura Street was cited on 3/14/24. Certified mail and regular mail was sent on 3/14/24. Hand delivery was done by Mr. Oliver on 3/19/24. I have been in contact with the property owner, Mr. Julian. The property was cited for parklet permits, certificate of use, sidewalk seating cafe permit, business tax, and obstruction of right-of-way. As of this morning, the certificate of use, the sidewalk cafe permit, the business tax receipt, and the obstruction of right-of-way have been complied. The parklet permit violation is still pending. Therefore, the city is requesting an additional 90 days for the property to come in compliance. If the property do not come into compliance within this 90-day time frame, then the city is requesting $150 a day until compliance is achieved.
Officer Francis, do you believe the photos that we were just shown truthfully and accurately depict the code violations that you alleged today?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe that 90 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come into compliance for these violations?
Yes, it's most of the paperwork has already been done. It's really just waiting for the city to get everything in order now.
Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony of the officer, into evidence, barring any objection.
Sir, do you have any objections to the city's evidence or testimony in this case?
I'm sorry?
Do you have any objections to the documents that the city would like?
No, I think 90 days should be sufficient to be able
All right,
to
hang on
build.
one second. I promise I'll let you tell me everything. So for the record, I'm going to accept in evidence the evidence or case file. This case, the city's composite exhibit 1. Officer Francis, what is a parking?
Parklet. So it's a small parking space that the business use for things other than parking. So a permit is required and is renewed every 2 years.
Is it like a loading zone?
No, it's some people use it as seating area, others use it as to store stuff. It's business use it for different situations, but it's on the side of the street like a parking space.
I could explain to you if you like.
Yeah, okay, maybe, yeah. Go
So
ahead.
the parklet was just passed by the city, I believe, a year ago, where it's allowing a cafe, a restaurant.
Actually, sir, can you just tell me your name, please?
Julian Gromad. I'm the owner of Avocado Grill.
Can you spell your last name, sir?
Gremaud.
Gramad?
Gromad.
Okay, I'm sorry, Mr. Gramad, go ahead.
It's allowing cafes or restaurants to be able to add some seating in a parking space. So the parking space needs to be converted to a parklet. And what happened in my case is that after COVID, we were allowed to sit in 2 parking spaces in front of my restaurant. And then when multiple business owners from the city tried to pass this parklet permit, we had no idea that it passed. And then, now we're switching from the COVID allowing to sit in the front to the parklet, which will be a more permanent structure as well.
People actually like sitting in the street, huh? This is why I'm not a restaurateur. Anyway, so the city wants to give you 90 days. Mr. Gramad, is that a sufficient amount of time for you to get this done?
Yes.
Okay. And that's it, right? Are the other sections are all complied?
Yes, everything else is complied.
So we're just
waiting
down
for
to
the
this,
parklet.
this,
Yeah,
it's a new term for me,
We couldn't get
parklet.
it done in time. That's why. Yes, all right.
all right, Mr. Gramad, I'm going to give you the 90 days, and just make sure you let the city staff, code enforcement staff know when it's in compliance.
Thank you very much.
All right. In case CE 2403162, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of Code Section 78492. The parklet needs a permit. I give the respondent 90 days to bring the property into compliance or a fine up to $150 per day may issue. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Case number 2, CE 240-92613, case address 5646 56 Way.
Magistrate, I need to be sworn in.
Sure. If anyone else came in late, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Florida?
Yes, sir.
Anytime you're ready, Officer McFarland.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On inspection on August 29th of property located at 5646 56 Way, a rental inspection was conducted and violations were found on the property. The property was cited for 22441, rental certificate required, 22-32-A, certificate of use, and 105.1, failure to obtain building permits. Both bathrooms were remodeled and plumbing was added to the kitchen in the form of a pot fill faucet that sits right over the stove. These items would require a permit. The property as well as City Hall was posted 11/5. Certified mail and regular mail was sent September 4th. I have been in contact with the property owner. She's aware of what needs to be done to get the property into compliance. And with that being said, city's recommending 120 days to obtain the permits that would bring the rental violations into compliance as well.
I presume that the delay in the rental permit is because it can't be permitted without the building permit?
The delay is she's having trouble trying to find a contractor that would pick up somebody else's work that's been done. This is the biggest hurdles for when I find items like this with work already completed. A lot of contractors don't want to assume somebody else's responsibility, but at the end of the day, it can be done. This is not the first one I've cited, and a few of them have complied, if not all.
And
So it can be done.
What
It's
daily
just gonna
fine
take
amount are
some
you looking?
doing.
Yeah, what daily fine amount are you looking for?
City's requesting $200 a day until compliance is achieved.
So 120 days, 200. Okay.
Yes.
Counsel?
Officer McFarland, did you take the photos that we were just shown here yourself?
Yes, sir.
And do they truthfully and accurately depict the code violations being alleged here today?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe 120 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come into compliance with these violations?
Yes, sir.
Special magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and the testimony of Officer McFarland, into evidence barring any objection.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
Sabrina Sanders?
Ms. Sanders, do you have any objection to the documents the city has been showing you?
No.
Or without objection, I'll accept in evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, the city's composite exhibit 1. Ms. Sanders, the city wants to give you 120 days, which seems like a pretty good amount of time to get your permits.
Yes.
Is that a sufficient amount of time for you?
Yes.
All right. And do you contest that you need these permits?
I'm sorry?
You agree that you need these permits?
Yes. I bought the house that way, so I'm trying to get it covered. Somebody else flipped the house. Yeah.
Yeah, that sometimes happens, huh?
Yeah.
All right, in case CE 24092613, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I found the property in violation of listed code sections, specifically I need a rental license, certificate of use, and a building permit for the plumbing work done. I'll give the respondent 120 days to come into compliance, or a fine of up to $200 per day may issue. It's important when you come into compliance that you let the code officer know that so they can comply you, because if they don't know and the time expires, you might start getting fined, right? So you don't want that to happen. So make sure you stay in contact with the code officer.
Perfect.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Case number 13, CE 240-92690, case address 2121 North Tamarind Avenue.
Good morning.
Time you ready, Officer Levine?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Kevin Levine, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement Officer. The property located at 2121 North Tamarind Avenue was cited on September 24, 2024 for the following violations: 18-103B exterior repair, 18-103C, interior repair, which is the interior walls. 18-103E, exterior doors and windows. 18-103F, exterior stairwell, which is compliant. 18-103J, painting of the exterior. 18-105J, painting of the exterior, non-residential. 18-95A, electrical, which is the outlets in the rooms of this structure. 94-315A, dumpster enclosure, which is compliant, and 97-71C, outdoor storage, which is compliant. A notice of violation identifying the violations and my contact information. A notice of hearing was sent to the property owner. The notice was sent both regular mail and certified mail on September 12th. On September 18th, both the property and City Hall was posted, and a completed affidavit is in the case file. Certified mail was returned on November 13th, 2024. Ms. Brenner, who is present here today, have been in constant communication with me, keeping me updated as to what's taking place on the property. So as such, after she does her testimony, I will ask for the required time and fines to be addressed to this property. Now, I also want to keep in mind that there's also a building case on it. There might be a some fire violations on this property too, because this was more of a task force involving police, fire, building.
Well, let's just focus on the ones that are in front of us.
Okay. So,
Counsel?
Good morning, Officer Levine.
good morning.
Did you take the photos that we've been shown here today yourself?
Yes, sir.
And do these photos truthfully and accurately depict the code violations that you've alleged here today?
Yes.
And how much time are you looking for, or is the city asking for the property owner to come into compliance for these violations?
I would say probably about 90 days.
90 days. And do you believe 90 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come into compliance for these outstanding violations?
It should be.
Okay. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos that we've seen and the testimony of the officer, into evidence barring any objection.
Ma'am, can you tell me your name, please?
Carol Brenner.
Carol
Renner.
Renner?
Mm-hmm.
And your position with the respondent?
I am the property manager.
Ms. Renner, do you have any objections to the testimony and evidence the city would like to put into evidence?
I don't think so. I mean, I've been in contact with Mr. Levine every step of the way. We've had multiple obstacles with this property that we're trying to...
Hang on one second, I promise I'll let you tell me. For procedural reasons, I just want to get the evidence in.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to accept into evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, the city's composite exhibit 1. All right, so tell me what's going on.
Nothing, we just have multiple obstacles with the property, and we're just going along as best as we can. We had to vacate the property on the top floor, and we did as many of these items as we could within the time period. We have ordered the multiple materials that we need as far as glass and windows, and are in process of the permit and the door, which we did replace because it was a safety and health issue, but it is in permitting. So I don't anticipate an issue with 90 days. If that glass comes in like we think it's going to come in next week, although it is holiday time, but we think the glass is going to come in next week, and then we'll be able to finish up the rest of the repairs.
Officer Levine, the sections that are outstanding, I have in my notes, 18103J, 18103C, 1895A, 18103B, 18105J, and 18103E. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's a fair amount to do here.
Well, the dumpster is done. The outside staircase is done.
Yeah, that's not even on my list.
Yeah, yes, it is. It's here. The outside staircase is done.
Yeah, but the city's not pursuing 315A at this point, 18103F, or 9471C. Those are all, I think the officer testified to being complied.
Well, I mean, 120 days would be better, but because it is holiday time, but I guess we could just go along.
What does the city think about 120?
Now, This is somewhat of a nuisance property. Let's keep it plain and simple. To be frank, because if you look at the windows and the doors, you would see it's bullet holes and stuff like that. So there is some activity going on around that property, right? What I believe the city is trying to do is to try and clean up that area. This property is also under foreclosure, so we would like to light the fire under, these property owners on Tamarind to get them to do what is required in the neighborhood.
Putting that aside for a second, you testified that you think that 90 days is a sufficient amount of time for the city to process any permits and things that they need to do in order for this to be done?
Yeah.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to give you the 90 days, and it is, there's a fair amount to be done here, so you do have to get to this pretty quickly, okay?
Well, I do believe, he keeps mentioning these cases, and it's not the property owner's fault that she got hit up by a drive-by. It's not the property's fault that she's in a neighborhood that she gets, all kinds of things. She's
Ms. Renner,
working on this as best as she can.
To be honest, that doesn't go into my calculation. I'm not a court of law.
He keeps
Yeah.
mentioning it, so.
Yeah, if it makes you feel better, that's not how I'm calculating this. I'm just calculating, for me, the question only is what's not in compliance and what's a sufficient amount of time to get it in compliance. And I think the things here that need to be done certainly can be done in 90 days. You just have to be.
Okay, can I just clarify can we have a clarification of one thing? When we met yesterday, we talked about the painting, the final permit, and the glass windows and door.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we talked about was remaining. Am I incorrect to think that way?
We spoke about the painting.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we spoke about the windows.
Mm-hmm.
We went upstairs and I showed you the electrical, the
Yeah, which
outlets,
was covers, yeah. Mhm.
right? And the exterior repair around the door in the back.
Right, once that's
So that is
permitted.
what we're talking about.
Yes, so
Okay.
that's what's remaining, correct?
Yes.
Okay, then 90 days should be sufficient. If there's any issue, I will contact Mr. Levine.
All right. All right, in case CE 2409269, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation. Listed code sections I adopt by reference to testimony of the code officer is the nature of those violations. I give the respondent 90 days to bring the property in compliance, or a fine of up to,
250.
was it 200 or 250 was the city asking for?
250.
A fine of up to $250 per day may issue. And of course, as you already said, Ms. Renner, it's important you stay in contact with the code officer and let them know your progress, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you for coming in, I appreciate it.
Case number 15, CE 240-92638, case address 1813 North Tamarind Avenue.
Sir, have you been sworn in? He wasn't here. Can you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury under the laws of the state of Florida?
That's right.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Officer Levine, City of West Palm Beach Code. The property located at 1813 North Tamarind Avenue was cited on September 10, 2024 for the following violations. 18103E, exterior doors and windows. 18105J, painting of the exterior non-residential, which is complied. 18106A, unsanitary condition. 74-34-A-2-D, commercial enclosure, which is for the trash cans on the sidewalk. 74-4-A, trash and debris. 78-94C, southern of the Swales and Parkway, which is complied. 82-151, 82-150, which is licensed under false pretense, which is complied. And I'll explain that to you because also 82-151, evidence of engaging in business, that is them selling wine, beer, and tobacco products without the proper licensing, which they have obtained.
So that is complied, 82-151?
Yes. And 94-315, dumpster enclosure. 94-402-B-2-11, prohibited signs, which is complied. And 94-485G, striping of the parking lot. Now, for the striping of the parking lot, They did pull a permit for that. However, they have to do a resubmit of the permit. So is it up to code? Only the planning and zoning could tell you if it's up to code. Now, a notice of violation identifying the violations and my contact information, along with a hearing date, was issued to the property owner. Both the notices were sent regular mail and 25 certified mail on September 12th. Both the property and City Hall was posted on September 18th, and a completed affidavit is in the file. Certified mail was returned on November 13th. I did an inspection with someone from the property last week and showed him what needed to be done still, and some of the stuff still hasn't been in compliance. Yesterday, I went back out to the property, and in the back of the property, it appeared as though someone had released some antifreeze in the backyard. The trash cans are still in view of the public. I spoke to the director of Public Works this morning, and he said that this property is only paying for one trash can. And there's about 5 or 6 trash cans outside there, so they need a dumpster, and they need to get a dumpster enclosure once they get this dumpster for this property. So with all that said, the city is requesting, I'd say 90 days too, because they need to get windows and stuff like that, or $250 a day thereafter.
How many days?
90 days. This property too, if you look at the photographs, there's a lot of bullet holes and...
Officer Levine, did you take the photos that we've seen here today yourself?
Yes, sir.
And do these photos truthfully and accurately depict the code violations that you've alleged here today?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe 90 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come into compliance for these alleged violations?
Yes.
Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and the testimony of the officer, into evidence barring any objection.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Ahmed Ibaida.
I'm sorry, one more time.
Ahmed Ibaida.
Can you spell your last name, sir?
Ibaida.
Can you say it one more time?
Ibaida. Ibaida.
Abeda.
Yeah.
Abeda, all right. Mr. Abeda, what's your position with the,
I'm the business owner.
and you rent the property from this 1081 Avenue LLC?
Correct.
Did you walk the property with the code officer and?
No.
It was someone else, sir. It wasn't.
It was the
He
landlord.
said he was the property manager. When I spoke to him, he said, I told him that there's still outstanding violation and he needs to be here. My witness there is Sergeant Patterson. He was present with me when I spoke to the property manager.
Mr. Abeda, do you have any objection to the documents and testimony the city would like to put in evidence?
No. Okay. So we have got everything done, but
All right, hold on, I'll let you tell me about it, but I just have to decide on the evidence first. Do you have any objections to the evidence? All right. Without objection, I'll accept the testimony and evidence, the city's photos and documents, in this case, the city's composite exhibit 1. All right, go ahead, sir.
so we have got everything is done, but the only thing we haven't finished yet is the windows, and that's because they say we have spoke to the company, and then they need 2 more weeks for the windows to come, so we can I guess they put them.
So the city wants to give you 90 days, which will certainly be enough time for your 2 weeks, but I don't believe that the city's position is it's just the windows. I mean, they've rattled off a lot of things, including trash cans, litter and debris. I mean, you want to go through it again one more time?
Sanitary condition, for the simple fact that it appears from the photograph that I took yesterday, it looks like antifreeze. I didn't test it, but it appears to be antifreeze. The trash is in this photograph here. The trash can is still out in the back. I mean, they need to get a dumpster because According to Public Works, they are paying for one trash can, and there are numerous trash cans on the
I mean,
property. They also need to get a
I think it
dumpster.
probably would be efficient for them to get a dumpster, but they'd be in compliance if they just removed the trash can from public view, right?
It would still be in public view.
But if they remove the trash can from public view, they would be in compliance.
So the way how that building is situated, if it's on the side, you would see from the road. If it's in the back, you would still see from the road. So they need a dumpster and they need to get it enclosed.
All right, what else we got? So we got the clean and sanitary, we got the trash cans, we got the windows, what else?
That seems to be, well, the parking lot, they did apply for a permit, but they have to resubmit it according to what the system says. So that has to go through inspections and approval. So in essence, the parking lot is still outstanding. Striping of the parking lot is still outstanding, even though the work was done.
So they did the work before they got the approval?
Yes, sir.
That might not have been your smartest move there.
I honestly, I didn't know about that. I just could.
All right, well, I mean, I think 90 days seems to be a reasonable amount of time to get most of this done. But I think just because there seems to be some miscommunication here, you definitely want to get the contact information of the code officer, and maybe if it makes sense, maybe you can go down there and explain it to him because he didn't do the walkthrough with you.
Special Manager, to be clear, for the record, this gentleman said he's the business owner. I did the inspections and spoke to the property
Owner.
manager.
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying it might be helpful if you want to get these things done because apparently you're the one doing them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, in case CE 24092638, I make the following findings of fact and law. If I notice is sufficient, I find the property in violation of the code sections listed by the code officer, and I adopt by reference the testimony of the code officer as to the nature of these violations. I give the respondent 90 days to come into compliance, or a fine of up to $250 per day may issue. Definitely want to stay in touch with the code officer. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think that's the last person here present, unless that gentleman that just walked in. If he comes up, I'll call him.
We'll just call the next one while I figure that one out.
Case number 1, CE 240-92615, case address 375 Orange Way.
Good morning. Sonny Bin, City of West Palm Beach, Code Enforcement. This property was cited on September 4th, 2024. The notice of violation was posted at the property and City Hall on September 10th, 2024. Certified mail was sent on September 10th, 2024. During my initial inspection, I observed the property with a broken fence, visible trash can, outdoor storage that is consist of recycled bins, plastic bucket, and large garbage bags being stored on the side of the property. This property was cited for codes 94-302A4 for fence repair, 9471C for outdoor storage, and 7434A1H for visible trash can. The photo showing today is truthfully and accurately reflects my testimony. To date, I have not made contact with the property owner. As of November 18, 2024, the property is still out of compliance for all codes cited. The city is requesting an additional 30 days to gain compliance, or $100 per day until compliance is achieved.
Good morning, Officer Binns.
Good morning.
Do you believe 30 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come into compliance for these outstanding violations?
Yes.
Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and the testimony, into evidence, barring any objection.
Without objection, I'll enter evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, the city's composite exhibit 1. So we have a fence that's clearly in disrepair. We have a trash can that's in public view because it's in disrepair. And what's the outdoor storage?
The outdoor storage is the plastic bags, and the plastic buckets that's being stored as well.
And you said you've had no contact with the owner?
Correct.
All right, in case CE 2409261, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of listed code sections, specifically offense and disrepair, trash can, public view, and outdoor storage, including of bags and buckets. The respondent will bring the property in compliance within 30 days or a fine of $100 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Case number 3, CE 240-82578. Case address 1645 Palm Beach Lakes, Building 1200.
Good morning, City of West Palm Beach Code Compliance Officer Paul McFarland. On 8/23, I received a complaint about Allied Moving Company. Upon further research online, I did find the business being advertised from location 1645 Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, Suite 1200. I then proceeded to cite the business for 82-151, evidence of doing business, to support what I found online, to also supplement 82-144, operating without a business tax receipt. The notice was posted at City Hall and hand-delivered on November 6th. Certified mail as well as regular mail was sent August 23rd. Certified mail was signed for November 15th. The business owner has since submitted application for the business tax receipt, but has not completed all avenues to have the business tax receipt issued. Let me give some context to what is remaining. This type of location at 1645 Palm Beach Lakes, what they do, they offer standalone units where businesses can operate from, and they also provide what we call a online addressing for a business. Now, this in particular business is what they are taking from this location. They're using it as a location, but they're not actually housed there. But it still required a business tax receipt. I did make contact what seemed to be what I could fathom as the owner about a month ago. She was extremely irate that I sent a notice out to her for operating without business tax receipt, and proceeded to hang up in my ear before I could explain what needed to be done to get the business into compliance. Nevertheless, I still provided an invoice and how to pay online when I hand-delivered the notice. I also emailed an invoice and how to pay online before proceedings took place today. I made one more sketch effort on Friday to reach out and call and let them know that this will be taking place today and all fees need to be paid so the business tax receipt can be issued and comply the code compliance case. As of this morning, fees are still outstanding. With that being said, City is recommending 30 days to bring the business into compliance, or a one-time fine of $250 be assessed on the property.
Officer McFarland, do you believe 30 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come into compliance for these violations?
Yes, sir. It could be done today, tomorrow, next day.
Understood. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony of Officer McFarland, into evidence, barring any objection.
Without objection, I'll accept the evidentiary case file in this case and evidence of city's composite exhibit 1. So based upon your investigation, Officer McFarland, they are operating the business from this location?
Yes.
All right, in case CE 240-82587, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 82-151 and 82-144, operating a business without a tax receipt, respondent shall come into compliance within 30 days or a fine of $250 may issue.
Thank you.
Case number 6, CE 24102-886. Case address 3308 Washington Road, number 1.
I have that listed as rescheduled.
Has been rescheduled. Sorry. Case number 7, CE 2472370. Case address 425 33rd Street has been rescheduled. Case number 8, CE 24102-803. Case address 2700 Broadway has also been rescheduled. Case number 9, CE 24102-926. There's no case address here, but we have an owner of Stainfield Levy III has been rescheduled. Next case, case 10, CE 24102-914. Case address 1001 36th Street, M33.
Good morning. Code Officer KT Weaver with the City of West Palm Beach. I received a complaint from a tenant at 1001 36th Street, Unit M133. I observed several violations at the unit. I took photos of the property which accurately and truthfully depict the violations observed. I initiated my investigation on October the 17th of 2024, citing the following violations: 18-102-3, repair, replace screens; 18-102-4, exterminate for pests; 18-103-B, repair rotten wood, roof, exterior walls, or foundation; 18-103C, repair interior walls; 18-103E, repair, replace broken windows. The notice of violation was posted at the property and City Hall on October the 30th of 2024. The affidavit of posting was completed on October the 30th of 2024, and a copy was placed in the case file. Certified and regular mail was sent to the mailing address listed on PAPA on November the 1st of 2024. Certified mail was signed for. I spoke with the property manager on November the 19th and confirmed that the property is still in violation of all the codes cited. I've had contact with the property manager, Elaine Delgado, who is requesting an additional 60 days to gain compliance. The city is requesting an additional 60 days or $250 a day until compliance is achieved.
Good morning, Officer Weaver.
Good morning.
Do you believe 60 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come in compliance for these violations?
Yes, sir.
Special Magistrate of the City would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony of Officer Weaver, into evidence, barring any objection.
Without objection, I'll accept the evidentiary case file in this case into evidence as City's Composite Exhibit 1. Are all of these code sections still at issue, Officer?
Yes, sir.
Weaver? You said 60 days, and how much of a fine were you looking for?
$250 a day.
Have you had contact with the respondent?
I've had contact the property manager who is handling everything, and she is waiting. She's the tenant. She gave her eviction notice because she wouldn't leave. So they should be beginning work any day now.
And I know you testified to this, but I just want to confirm that 60 days is a sufficient amount of time to cover these?
Yes, if they start the work, yes, sir.
All right, in CE 24102-914, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I found the property in violation of the listed code sections. I give the respondent 60 days to come into compliance or a fine of up to $250 per day, may issue.
Thank you.
Case number 11, CE 240-92665. Case address 920 39th Street.
Good morning again, Code Officer Weaver with the City of West Palm Beach. While checking a complaint in the area, I observed several violations at 920 39th Street. I took photos of the property which accurately and truthfully depict the violations observed. I initiated my investigation on September the 4th of 2024, citing the following violations: 18-103B, exterior wall, etc., which has been complied; 18-106-B, excessive growth, which has been complied; 18106A, clean and sanitary. 18106G, painting and touching up the trim, fascia and soffit, etc. 18-106-K, lack of landscape maintenance. 78-94-C, swells and parkways. 94-445-4-I, prohibited tree. 94-446-2, maintaining the landscape and removing the prohibited tree. 94-453-B, non-conforming areas and prohibited tree. 94-482-A, restricted vehicle parked on unpaved surfaces. The notice of violation was posted at the property and City Hall on October the 30th of 2024. The affidavit of posting was completed on October the 30th of 2024, and a copy was placed in the case file. Certified and regular mail was sent to the mailing address listed on PAPA on September the 13th of 2024. The certified mail was signed for. I revisited the property on November the 19th and observed the property still in violation of the 18-106-A, 18-106-G, 18-106-K, 78-94-C, 94-445-4-I, 94-446-2, 94-453-B, and 94-482-A. Reinspection photos were taken on November the 19th showing the remaining violations, and they were uploaded to the case. I have not had any contact with the property owner. The city is requesting an additional 60 days or $100 a day until compliance is achieved.
And Officer Weaver, do you believe 60 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come into compliance for these violations?
Yes, sir.
Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony of Officer Weaver, into evidence, barring any objection.
Without objection, I'll accept those documents into evidence. As City's Composite Exhibit 1. Officer Weaver, the clean and sanitary, is that the trash around the property?
That there's a little, but also the pressure washing of the sidewalk and walkways. Yes, sir. And
The
driveway.
swales, is that the missing sod, or is that just the weeds?
It's not missing side. It needs to be trimmed edge and maintained.
The parking, are they parking on the grass?
There's a boat, a picture of a boat. That's the tree that was prohibited. They cut that much and then they left that, but they have to take the rest of that down. But if you keep going, there's a boat.
There's a boat parked on the grass, is that it?
Yes, sir.
In the back.
Okay.
There you go.
Landscape maintenance? Is that,
Yeah, just edge and trim and maintaining it. They did cut the high grass. It's starting to grow back, but they did cut the high grass down, but just needs to be.
But they still
trimmed
need to do
edge
some
and
trimming
maintained.
and edging?
Yes, sir.
The prohibited tree, was that stump you showed me before?
Yes, sir.
The paint, is there paint peeling on the house?
There's around the trim, soffit, and fascia area, there's, one board was replaced, but they need to either they can pressure wash or they can trim. If you keep going up to the pictures, you'll start seeing it up close, the areas. Keep going. And we're gonna keep going as we're going, you'll start seeing the areas. Keep going. Keep going, yeah. So it's just around the front and the sides. Keep going. That's where they did replace a
Oh,
board.
okay. So they need to paint the trim.
Yes, and touch it, just
Okay.
touch it up around the sides and the front.
What's the 94-453B, the non-conforming?
All of that is in reference to the prohibited tree.
So that's our
We
tree again?
use those three, yeah, we use those three for a prohibited tree now, so, yes, sir.
And 94-4462, is that just the overall condition of the landscape?
9-4,
4462, landscape maintenance?
yes, and that's also in reference to the prohibited tree. We use three codes now when we're citing for prohibited trees, so those
That's
are
a
the
lot for a
three.
tree.
I'm just complying.
All right. All right, in CE 24092665, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation on the listed code sections. I adopt by reference the testimony of the code officer as to the nature of those violations. I give the respondent 60 days to come into compliance or a fine of up to $100 per day, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Case number 12, CE 24102-920, case address 1001 36th Street, T44.
Good morning again, Code Officer Weaver with the City of West Palm Beach. I received a complaint from the tenant at 1001 36th Street, Unit T44. I observed several violations in the unit. I took photos of the property which accurately and truthfully depict the violations observed. I initiated my investigation on October 17th of 2024, citing the following violations. 105.1, failure to obtain a permit for a newly installed water heater. 18-103C, repair, replace infected interior walls. 18-103E, repair, replace a broken window. 18-106A, remove all mold spores and presence of mold from the unit, as well as obtaining air quality tests. The notice of violation was posted at the property and City Hall on October the 30th of 2024. The affidavit of posting was completed on October the 30th of 2024, and a copy was placed in the case file. Certified and regular mail was sent to the mailing address listed on PAPA on November the 1st of 2024. Certified mail was signed for. I spoke with the property manager on November 19th of 2024 and confirmed that the property was still in violations of all the codes cited. The property manager, Elaine Delgado, is requesting an additional 60 days to gain compliance. The city is requesting an additional 60 days or $250 a day until compliance is achieved.
Officer Weaver, do you believe 60 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come in compliance for these violations?
Yes, sir.
Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony of Officer Weaver, into evidence, barring any objection.
Without objection, I'll accept the evidentiary case file in this case into evidence, the city's composite exhibit 1. All right, so we got the windows and doors in 18103E. They're not sealed?
There's a broken window.
Oh, they're
that needs to
broken.
be- Yes, sir.
Well, that would do it. The internal, the structure conditions, what's that?
I'm sorry?
The 18103C, the interior?
There's mold throughout the entire unit, which a mold test was completed. It's in my case file, and was determined that mold is throughout the entire unit
The building permit?
for the water heater that was installed without a permit.
And the clean and sanitary, I assume, is the mold?
Yes.
All right, in C24102920, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of listed code sections. Make further finding. I adopt by reference the testimony of the code officers to the nature of those violations. I give the respondent 60 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of $250 per day, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Case number 14, CE 240-92713, case address 1909 North Tamred Avenue.
Kevin Levine, City of West Palm Beach Code. The business located at 1909 North Tamron Avenue was cited on September 10, 2024 for the following violations. 82150, license obtained by false statement, and 82151, evidence of engaging in business. And what that is that this business is selling tobacco products without the proper licensing for the City of West Palm Beach. A notice of violation identifying the violations, my contact information, notice of hearing was issued to the business owner. NOV was sent regular mail and certified mail on September 12th. Both the business and City Hall was posted on September 18, 2024. Certified mail was signed for on 9/20/2024. During the visit, the first time, which was September 10th, I spoke to the business owner explaining what he needed to do. It's a simple fix. Come to City Hall, add the category, pay the fee. Went back on September 18th to post the property again, had a discussion with the business owner. As of this morning, the category has not been added. So it's been 2 months. The city is requesting 10 days to come into compliance, or one-time fee of $250 for this violation.
Officer Levine, did you take these photos that we've been shown here yourself?
Yes.
Did these photos truthfully and accurately depict the code violations that you've alleged here today?
Yes.
And do you believe that 10 days is a reasonable
Oh,
amount?
absolutely. He had 2 months to get a simple fix.
So that's a reasonable
Just
amount of
walk
time
into
for
City
them?
Hall and add the category, pay the fee.
Okay. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony of Officer Levine, into evidence, barring any objection.
Without objection, I'll accept in evidence the evidentiary case file in this case, the city's composite exhibit. So just so I understand, they are selling tobacco, as we can see in here, and that requires a specific business license, or at least an amended business license.
An amended, a category that's added to this city's business license.
And without that category added to their business license, they're not supposed to be selling.
No, sir. Absolutely not.
And you've communicated to them on
Twice.
multiple occasions?
On 2 occasions, yes.
All right, CE 24092-713, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient to find the property in violation of 82-150 and 82-151, selling tobacco products without the appropriate permit or license. Respondent has 10 days to come into compliance or one-time fine of $250.
Case number 16, CE 24092-644, case address 1909 North Tamarind Avenue.
Okay. Officer Levine again. The property located at 1909 North Tamarind Avenue was cited on September 10, 2024 for the following violations. 18-105J, painting of the exterior residential, which is complied. 18-106A, unsanitary condition. 22-32-A, certificate of use. 22-441, rental license. 74-4-A, trash and debris. 82-150, license obtained under false statement. 82-151, engaging in business, selling tobacco products without a proper licensing. 94-110-C-6, window signage. 94-302A, fence repair. And 94-315, dumpster enclosure. Notice of violation, identifying the violations and my contact information. With this hearing date was sent to the property owner. The notice was sent via regular mail and certified mail on September 12th. Both the property and City Hall was posted on September 18th, and an affidavit was posted in the case file. The certified mail was signed for on September 28, 2024, and I've had no contact with the property owner. So the city is requesting 30 days to come into compliance, or $200 a day thereafter.
Officer Levine, did you take the photos in this file yourself?
Yes, sir.
And do the photos truthfully and accurately depict the code violations being alleged here today?
Yes, sir.
And do you believe 30 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come in compliance for these violations?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Thank you. Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony of Officer Levine, into evidence, barring any objection.
Without objection, I'll accept the evidentiary case file in this case in evidence, the city's composite exhibit. All right, so 22-441 is the business tax relief. Is that because of the tobacco issue again?
No. The 22-441, he's renting the property to the proprietor of the previous case. So there is a business inside there, but he's renting the property to that business, but he doesn't have a rental license to rent to that business.
All right, so the owner of the property is renting the property without a rental license?
Yes.
Okay. The fence and wall maintenance, 94-302A4?
Yes, sir. It still needs to be repaired.
I'm sorry?
The fence still needs to be repaired.
All right, so the fence is in disrepair? Yes, okay. It's certain, I would agree, that does look like it's in disrepair. 82-151, that's the tobacco issue.
Okay.
No.
The property owner is ultimately responsible for what happens on his or her property.
I agree.
That is why I did what I did with these two particular violations, 82-150 and 82-151.
Okay, so this is again the license issue because
Yes, it's a license issue, yes.
All right, clean and sanitary. I don't need you to tell me about that one. I saw the garbage there. Okay, so 82-150 is the tobacco issue.
Yes, 82-150 is tobacco, yes.
All right, the signage, what's that?
That's the windows, you go back.
Okay, signage, okay. So they're gonna need a permitter to remove those. The dumpster screening, is the dumpster, do we have a picture?
Dumpsters in view of public.
Okay, dumpsters in view of the public, got that. What's 18105J, the exterior surfaces?
That's the paint, yeah. That's the only thing they did on the property.
Oh, so that one's in compliance?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that actually looks all right. I mean, I don't know the color there, but that seems to be okay. The 74-4A, that's that litter, right?
Yes, sir.
And certificate of use, again, is the business without a
Property
business.
owner, property
Property
owner,
owner.
yes.
All right, and you believe 30 days is sufficient time to bring these into compliance?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Easy fixes.
All right, in case CE 24092644, make the following findings of fact on law. If I notice is sufficient, I find the property in violation of the code sections listed by the code officer. I adopt by reference the testimony of the code officer as to the nature of these violations. Respond as 30 days to come into compliance or fine of $200 per day may issue.
Thank you.
Case number 17, CE 240-82553, case address 719 52nd Street.
City of West Palm Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited on August 15th. Certified mail was sent August 15th. Certified mail was received August 19th. City Hall was posted August 19th. This property was cited for garbage can placement, 74-34A-1H, and unpaved parking, 94-482-A. As of yesterday, the only compliant violations were the unpaved parking, 94-42A. Oh, sorry about that. I have the wrong one, sorry.
Yeah, I think we're on 17. I think you
Yeah.
did 18. Yeah. You want to start again?
Yep, because I'm missing one here. All right, sorry about that. I'm going to start over. City of West Palm Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited on August the 20th. Certified mail was sent August the 20th. Certified mail was received August 24th. City Hall was posted September the 3rd. This property was cited for high grass, 18-106B, paint, 18-106G, landscape maintenance, 18-106M, repeat violation, 26-35B, garbage can placement, 74-34A-1H, and sodding of the swell, 78-94C. The two repeat violations for this case are the high grass, 18-106B, and the landscape maintenance, 18-106M. Both of those stem from the case that was done on August 20th, 2024. Sorry, the repeat for the case CE 23060061 that was cited on June 6, 2023. The affidavit of noncompliance and the magistrate order also attached with this case. The compliant violations were 78-94-C, sodding of the swell, 18-106-M, the landscape maintenance, the 26-35B, the repeat violation, and the 18-106B. The remaining violations outside of the repeat violations that have come into compliance are the paint, 18-106G, the garbage can placement, which is 74-34A-1H. With those two, the city is requesting additional 30 days to gain compliance or $50 per day after. When it comes to the repeat violations, the repeat violations were out of compliance for a total of 40 days. They came into compliance on August the 20th, and at that rate of $50 per day. Sorry, the repeat violation was for 40 days at $50 per day. Man, I wrote this wrong. Sorry, repeat, 40 days, repeat. Get into compliance. Yeah, I have here too. I'm just making sure I have it because I wrote down both the previous violation and this one. The previous, there was where I had my error. The previous code violation that stemmed for this with the repeat was for 40 days that it ran out of sight of the compliance. But as for this case was cited on August the 20th. The repeat violation only ran for a total of 4 days. And with this, the city is asking a one-time fine of $200 for the repeat violation. I've had correspondence with the property owner. He assured me that he will have a team come by and keep the property cut and clean. I see he's moving steps forward. He has put down sod and he's been keeping it up. But you have these tenants as well that are just leaving the garbage cans out. And when it comes to the paint, I advise him that he could perhaps get something to catch the water dripping from the air condition, because in the image, that's the only part that's left to be painted.
Good morning, Officer Watkins. Did you take the photos in this file yourself?
Yes.
And do the photos truthfully and accurately depict the code violations that you cited here today?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that 30 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come in compliance for the outstanding violations?
Yes, sir.
Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony of Officer Watkins into evidence, barring any objections.
Without objection, I'll accept in evidence the inventory case file in this case, the city's composite exhibit 1. So the remedy the city's seeking here is you're seeking a fine for the repeat violation in the amount of $200, and you want to give them 30 days or $50 a day to bring the rest of it in compliance?
Yes, the rest would be the 18-106G for the paint and the 74-34A-1H for the garbage can placement.
Is everything else in compliance at this stage?
Yes.
All right, in case CE 240825553, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient. I find the property in violation of 18106B, having been in violation of 18106B and 18106M. Make further finding that said violations constitute a repeat violation under the code of the city of West Palm Beach. I assess a one-time fine in the amount of $200 for the time it was out of compliance. As to the remaining code sections testified to by the code officer, I give the respondent 30 days to bring the property in compliance or a fine of up to $50 per day may issue.
Case number 18, CE 2408255, case address 733 51st Street.
Code Officer Robert Watkins, this property was cited August 15th. Certified mail was sent August 15th. Certified mail was delivered on August the 19th. Property in City Hall was posted August the 19th. This property was cited for garbage can placement, 74-34A-1H, and unpaved parking, 94-482A. As of yesterday, the only violations that have come into compliance was the unpaved parking. I have not had any correspondence with the property owner with this. The city is requesting additional 30 days at $50 per day after.
Officer Watkins, did you take the photos in this file yourself?
Yes, sir.
And do the photos truthfully and accurately depict the code violations being alleged here today?
Yes, it does.
And do you believe that 30 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come in compliance for these violations?
Yes.
Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony of Officer Watkins into evidence, barring any objection.
Without objection, I'll accept into evidence the inventory case file in this case, the city's composite exhibit. Officer Watkins.
722. Hold on.
Sorry?
Incorrect pictures. Hold on.
Yeah, she was showing different pictures.
Yeah. It's supposed to be 3.
So the only issue here is the trash can in public view?
Yeah, they removed them, but they're storing trash cans and tires and recycle bins right by the bushes by the front of the home. But it's a duplex. They're storing them by the front.
And you can see them from the street?
Yeah, they're.
All right, in case CE 2408255, I make the following findings of fact and law. I find notice is sufficient if I find the property in violation of 74-34A-1H, storing a trash can in public view. Respondent has 30 days to bring the property into compliance or a fine of up to $50 per day may issue.
Case number 19, CE 2408256, case address 4915 Pinewood Avenue.
City of West Palm Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited August 15th. Certified mail was sent August 15th. Certified mail was received August 19th. City Hall was posted on August 19th. This property was cited for sodding of the swell, 78-94-C, fence repair, 94-302A-4, sodding of the yard, 94-442C-1, and unpaved parking, 94-482-A. As of yesterday, the violations that came into compliance was the fence repair, unpaved parking, and sodding of the swell. The remaining violation will be sodding of the yard of all bare areas, 94-442C-1. I have had correspondence with this property owner. The only thing that she was left was to get the sod. She was dealing with electrical issues that set her roof on fire, so she had to get the permit and redo the roof. So with that in mind, the city is requesting additional 60 days for her just to sod the yard at a rate of $50 per day after.
Officer Watkins, did you take the photos in this file yourself?
Yes.
Do the photos truthfully and accurately depict the code violations being cited today?
Yes.
Do you believe that 60 days is a reasonable amount of time for the property owner to come in compliance for these violations?
Yes.
Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony of Officer Watkins, into evidence, barring any objection.
Without objection, I'll accept into evidence the case file, in this case, the city's composite exhibit. All right, so this is just the sod for the lawn. She's done everything else, right?
Yes, and I understand it was hard because they had the roll off right there to take all the roof materials. So you see there, she got a new roof, new electrical panels and stuff. So I'm understanding of that. So she did everything else. So we both together came up. She said 30 days, but I know how things are working right now. So I told her 60 days would be suffice for that.
Right, that sounds fair. CE 240825536, make the following findings of fact on life. I notice is sufficient. I found the property in violation of 94442C1. Specifically, the landscaped areas have to be sodded. I give the respondent 60 days to come to compliance or a fine of up to $50 per day, Mission.
Case number 20, CE 240825516, case address 5101 Pinewood Avenue.
City of West Palm Beach Code Officer Robert Watkins. This property was cited on August the 14th. Certified mail was sent August 15th. Certified mail was received August 19th. City Hall was posted on August 15th. This property was cited for 18-100 boards on windows, 18-106M, maintaining of landscape, 18-106B, excessive growth, and 26-35-B, the repeat violation. When it comes to the repeat violation, it was out of compliance from August the 14th to the 28th. With this, the city is requesting that it was, due to the fact it was out of compliance for 15 days, at a total of $50 a day, which comes to a total of $750 for the repeat violations. All violations have come into compliance as of August 28th. I've had correspondence with the tenant as well as property owner with this case. So in reference to that, the city is just requesting a one-time fine.
Officer Watkins, did you take the photos in this file yourself?
Yes, sir.
And do the photos truthfully and accurately depict the code violations that you cited here today?
Yes, sir.
Do you believe, well, there's no time, everything's in compliance, correct?
Yes, sir.
Special Magistrate, the city would like to enter the case file, including the photos and testimony of Officer Watkins, into evidence, barring any objection.
Without objection, I'll accept the evidentiary case file in this case into evidence, the city's composite exhibit. So Officer Watkins, which sections were the repeat violations?
Pretty much almost all of them. The maintaining of landscape, excessive growth, those were the main two. There was board on windows before. They took them off, but definitely it was the maintenance of landscaping and excessive growth. It's attached to there as well.
And in this case, what you observed was the landscaping wasn't being maintained and it wasn't being cut and trimmed?
Yes, it was severely overgrown, to the point where the city was the property manager, because they would only cut it when there would be a violation notice was generated.
All right, in case CE 240825516, to make the following findings of fact on life, I notice is sufficient to find the property having been in violation of 18100, 18106M, and 18106B, and make further findings that violations constitute a repeat violation under the Code of the City of West Palm Beach. I hereby assess a fine in the amount of $50 per day for each day it was out of compliance as a repeat violation, for a total fine in the amount of $750.
Case number 21, CE 240-92677, case address 801 North Point Parkway.
Good morning, Don Williams, Code Enforcement. Special Magistrate, I'm going to have to reschedule these cases. I just noticed sitting back there that I cited the wrong code for all these cases. So I'm going to just have to say that I'm going to have to reschedule these cases.
Are we talking
They
about?
should be business taxes, but this code I cited is for rental license for some reason.
That is a problem.
So I have to
Is that true
disclose
for,
that.
all
All seven or eight, yes.
All right.
I'll be back, though.
All right, these are hereby rescheduled.
Maybe that's why they didn't respond to me, maybe, that's why. Yeah, you can call them all, I'll just say
You want to call them
reschedule.
all as rescheduled?
Yeah.
Okay, no problem. So case number CE 24092-677, case address 801 North Point Parkway will be rescheduled. Case number 22 CE 24092-684, 801 North Point Parkway will be rescheduled. Case number 23 CE 24092-686, case address 801 North Point Parkway will be rescheduled. Case number 24, case 24, case CE 24092-682, case address 801 North Point Parkway will be rescheduled. Case number 25, CE 24092-679, case address 801 North Point Parkway will be rescheduled. Case number 26, CE 24092-681, case address 801 North Parkway will be rescheduled. And finally, case number 27, CE 24092-671, case address 801 North Point Parkway will be rescheduled. That is the last of our cases.
Thank you much.
Well, I guess that's all we have in the regular business, right? Yes. All right, so we're gonna take a break till, what are we scheduled, at 11:30?
Yep.
Is that when we're scheduled? All right, we will adjourn till 11:30. All right, I hereby call us back into order. This is the Special Magistrate Other Matters for the City of West Palm Beach. Let me begin by explaining how this process is going to work. We're going to call the cases in the order in which they appear on the agenda. Once your case is called, I'm going to ask you to come down to the podium on my right-hand side. The city will introduce the case first, and then you'll have an opportunity, in this case, to present me with what you are asking me for and the justification for why I should grant it to you. If it is a fine reduction, which most of these tend to be, it's important to do both, which is tell me exactly what you are asking me for and give me the justification for why I should do that. It's also important to remember that the city code has a very specific code section that relates to reductions of fines, which gives me very specific instructions about how I'm supposed to do that. Once I have all the testimony and evidence, I'll make a ruling, either a written order today or in the next few days. If you have any questions as we go through the process, do feel free to ask them. This is not a formal courtroom. The formal rules of evidence do not apply here, although all testimony is taken under oath under penalty of perjury. So if you're going to testify today, or you think you might testify, or there's a possibility that you might testify, I'd ask that you rise, raise your right hand so I can swear you in. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be truthful and accurate under penalty of perjury under laws of the state of Florida? Yes. All right, let's go.
Case number 28, CE 081000344, case address 737 19th Street.
Magistrate, they're here for agenda item number 30 as well. Would you like to hear them both at the same time or hear them separately?
I'm open to either way you want to do it.
Okay, we can do them at the same time if that works.
Case number 30, CE 080-20362, case address 737 19th Street.
Okay. Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement, for agenda item 28, case number CE081000344, address 737 19th Street. This case was originally cited back in October of 2008 for trash and debris as well as grass being overgrown on the property. It went to a special magistrate hearing December 3rd of 2008, and it was ordered for the fine to start as of October 3rd of 2008. That fine ran for $200 a day at $35 a day for a total of, for $200 a day for 35 days for a total of $7,000. This was done under the previous owner. City requests a reduction of this fine to 15%, which will be $1,050.
Do you want to present the other one as well?
Sure. And for agenda item number 30, case number CE 080-20362, same address, 737 19th Street. This case was originally cited February 11th of 2008. They were cited for inoperative vehicle, grass and weeds overgrown on the property, paint needed to the exterior of the property, and exterior windows and doors needing to be made weather tight. This went to a special magistrate hearing April 25th, 2008. It was ordered for the fine to start as of May 26th, 2008. That ran at $150 a day for 5,447 days for a total of $817,050. This was again done under the previous owner, so the city requests a reduction to 5%, which would be $40,852.50.
Sir, would you like to make your appearance?
Guy Quattlebaum, counsel for the owners. Good morning.
Sir, could you tell me your last name one more time?
Quattlebaum, Quattlebaum.
Quattlebaum, did I say that right?
Quattlebaum, yep.
Quattlebaum. Go ahead, sir.
It's not as scary as it sounds. We're here, I was hoping to get a chance to talk to Mr. Williams before this. Essentially what we have here is way back again in 2008, there was an elderly woman that lived there, got sick, left the country and became overgrown. Right before she died in 2018, she deeded it over to a relative of hers who was similarly ill and could not keep up the property. That property was then subsequently sold to a separate entity who took the property and brought it into compliance. I think it was in 2017 or 2021. That entity since has then sold to my client, who is an out-of-state purchaser. It cleared, he didn't know anything about these obligations. These are not life safety issues. It was really just overgrown grass. We think that it's inappropriate to have that, burden them with it because it is a problem property. It needs to be gutted and it needs to be rehabilitated even further before it can be rented or sold. As is, it's a blight on the community. They would use the money that obviously is saved from today's hearing to rehab and get it ready either for sale or for rental, and it'll be a betterment to that particular street. Other than the way it's been for the last 20-something years. We're looking at a 1 to 2% of value if we were able to, which would bring it into probably the $8,000 to $15,000 range total for both of these, and that's what we'd be requesting today.
Specifically, what number you requested? Well, I guess the city's offered 1,000.
Well, they were 15. They were 15% on the first one. I was kind of lumping them together, so it's really about 824,000. So if you do 1 or 2%, or 1% is going to be, in the $8,000 range, and obviously 2% is double of that. Ideally, I'd like it to be 10% for the both of them. Or $10,000 for the both of them, not 10%. I'm sorry.
What's the city's position on the request?
For agenda item number 28, we would keep the recommendation that's already been presented. For agenda item number 30, we would counter with a reduction to 20,000 for that one, magistrate.
I know that's more than you want, Mr. Quattlebaum, but that's a pretty good offer, I would think. You walked in here with 824,000.
Well, you guys really scared me because the same property number is listed as number 31 as well, with a $1.3 million something on there. But thankfully, that one was dismissed previous to today. I don't know what that one was about. That kind of scared me this morning.
I'll be honest, I'm inclined to follow the city's recommendation here. I think that's a fairly substantial. I mean, the one thing I always have to keep in mind in these hearings is that I especially since we're on television, is I never want to give the impression to anybody that one can simply get away with these things by transferring property. And I'm not suggesting that's what happened in your case, but there has to be some sort of consequence to
Sure.
years of non-code.
I agree with like I said, these are 3 owners ago where this occurred, but at the same time, I understand your position on that. I would ask that maybe we split the baby on this one, and I've offered 10, he offers 20, that we do it for 15,000 for both.
What's the city think?
We would stay put at our offer that we've already made, magistrate.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stay there. KCE 08100344, I'll reduce that from $7,000 to $1,000. And on CE payable, how much time do you need, sir?
At least 60 days. It depends on what the number is. I mean, if it's 15, we probably could do it or shorter time period.
All right, I'll do 60 days on case 28. In case 30 CE 08020362, I'll reduce that to 20,000. I'll give you 90 days. Thank you for coming in, sir.
Thank you.
Case number 29, CE 03070342, case address 912 14th Street.
Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Agenda item 29, case number CE 030700342, was originally cited July 22nd of 2003. They were cited for unpaved parking. This went to a special magistrate hearing September 17th of 2003 and was ordered for the fine to start as of September 30th, 2003. That fine ran at $100 a day for 602 days for a total of $60,200 and was complied May 24th of 2005. This is done under the same owner. They only had 2 cases with code enforcement under their ownership. So the city requests a reduction of 25% of that lien, magistrate, for a total of $15,050.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Hi, my name is Anthony Diaz.
Mr. Diaz, what is your relationship to the owner, Mr. Tax?
I am the property manager. There should be a power of attorney there in the paperwork and stuff like that for me to be here to talk today.
All right, sir, what are you asking me for and why should I grant it to you?
Okay, so originally, there's a confusion with my property and the property that is right next to it, 912 and 914. So the original ticket was issued was for 914. The case number and the ticket number fell under 914 and then got assigned to 912. So when I went to the property, somebody, back in 2003, we didn't own the property. So we're the new owners of the property. But somebody keeps putting the address on our property from the other side, and they keep putting 912 and a half, 914, 914 and a half. So they keep putting mailboxes and stuff like that in the front. I've already spoke to the post office about it too, and the code officer, that there was a code officer a few years back when we did the original request back in 2020 for this, the lien reduction, that the addresses, we're getting violations for 914 when we are 912. So this original violation for the 60,200 is for 914, not 912. So there's a confusion there. So what my office is asking is if we can have this removed to the actual face value of the raw cost of the ticket, of the actual ticket, however it was during that time to pay, because it doesn't seem to be getting cleared or removed from our property. But even when the code inspector went to do the inspection from the last time we did it, she was at the wrong property, because that particular street there, I have the paper here. So it's a lot that is in front of another lot, and then behind that lot is this alleyway, a dirt road alleyway that goes back behind. But for some reason, 914 uses our property to cross through, because the mailboxes have to be in front of my property.
Hold on one second. Do you understand what this is about?
This is the first time I'm hearing about this. Magistrate, the case notes have nothing.
I can
say
show
nothing
you
about this.
I can show you. Can I walk over to you?
Sure.
So this is my property here in the front, right? Okay. This is the other property here in the back. So they have, see this where this is here? They have to walk between my property, split down the middle of my property to get to this property, because this alleyway back here is a dirt road. But for some reason, the front of their building, this used to be together.
Okay.
These two properties used to be together, used to be one set, and then somewhere in the world, I don't know how, they got separated. So now this front half is 912, and this is 914. So 914 used to be part of 912, but it's not anymore. But we had to have the police come out and tell these people to stop using. We had to close the fence in the front because they kept walking through because their entrance goes split down the middle of our lot. So the original,
Hold on one second.
that's from the 2020 packet that we sent in. And if you turn the page, you'll see that the original ticket here, so the original ticket was issued in 9/14. So we've been having problems with this particular lot, because we have lawn service in place that handles the property.
So you have to speak into the mic, sir.
Oh, okay. But see, it was originally issued to 9/14. So we get blamed for 9/14 stuff when we're 9/12. Yeah, this is from the original 2020. And when the inspector went to do the inspection, when we did this request, she went to 9/14, not 9/12. So it's kind of confusing.
It seems to me, I mean, here, let me take a look.
Yeah, because they used to be all one.
All right, so,
So I can also show you that.
hold on one sec, because I think so it seems to me maybe the city needs to do some investigation about whether the right property was noticed here, because otherwise I'm not sure what I'm doing here.
So I can show you here that when I sent in this packet, somebody wrote on the packet that is not my handwriting, 9/14. We are not 9/14.
Magistrate, I have to agree with you that we'd have to look into it. We didn't know that this was gonna be a defense.
Yeah, so
I don't know if this was one property when it was cited and now it's since been subdivided, or if it's,
All right, so this is what my inclination to do here is,
So you see, even
my,
the original packet that we did request,
One second.
somebody wrote 9/14.
all right, hold the conversation for a second, because this is what I'm inclined to do here. My inclination is to reset this for the next hearing.
We'll reschedule.
Give the city a chance to investigate these things that you brought up, because if they did cite the wrong property, then it's not a reduction, it needs to be removed. And so I don't know exactly what to do here at this point, because I'm not sure what the factual situation is. They might need to talk to the original code officer. So I'm gonna reset this for the next hearing, and I'm gonna ask, if the city reaches some conclusion about resolution, maybe you could resolve it without bringing it back. But let's reset this for now, because the things that you bring up are very relevant. I don't know what to do with them without giving the city a chance to sort of understand what happened here.
Well, the only issue that we're having with that decision there is that we're trying to get financing to build on the lot. And we can't do anything because of the amount, and the violation. That's why
Well, then, I'll ask the city to expedite their examination, and if it can be removed without coming back, that they do that. But there's really nothing I can do here, because there is some confusion about proper notice here.
Okay.
And you might well, to be honest, you might well be right that this wasn't cited properly, but I need the city to do an investigation to figure that out.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna postpone.
Okay. December 4th? That's Wednesday.
That's Wednesday.
Okay.
All right, we'll be in touch.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
If you have a card, why don't you give it to him so that you can stay in contact? Yeah.
I don't know if I can put it this.
Case number 3190-466 has been closed. Case number 33 CE 210-60441, case address 6401 Washington Road.
Are we skipping 32?
Yes, the officer
We're gonna
asked
close
to
we're gonna
please
that
call
one
it last.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Agenda item 33, case number CE 210-60441, address 6401 Washington Road. This case was originally cited June 29th of 2021. They were cited for needing to maintain the property in neat condition, grass and bushes and trees on the property overgrown. The trash can being in public view. Trees needing to be trimmed that were overhanging, blocking the city's right-of-way, as well as the driveway and sidewalk needed to be cleaned and pressure washed. This went to a special magistrate hearing August 4th, 2021. It was ordered for the fine to start as of September 6th, 2021. That ran at $100 a day for 379 days for a total of $37,900 and was complied September 20th of 2022. Service in this case was achieved by way of posting as well as regular mail. This is done under the same owner who has 22 cases with code enforcement under his ownership. So the city requests a reduction magistrate to 25%, which would be $9,475.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
Joseph Noble, the owner of the property. We've owned the property since about 1955, the Noble family.
So, Mr. Noble, what are you asking me for, and why should I grant it to you?
Well, I'm asking for a reduction of the fine to about $1,000, Your Honor. The reason being is I was stuck in Thailand during the COVID epidemic, which started in 2020, and I was stuck there till about 2022 because I couldn't get a COVID shot. My son had a gardener that he had arranged that was coming twice a month, but unbeknownst to him, maybe during the time that the inspection was done, the gardener hadn't been there for about a month, and probably the neighbors reported the grass being high. I was unaware that a notice had been sent to the city because I didn't get back to the U.S. till about 2023, and there was a piece of mail. And as soon as I saw that, within one day we had everything cleared up. But the period that they came out was we had the gardener all the time, except maybe for 1 month. So it may have just been that I think Miss Luster was the one who did the inspection, was just there during that period of time where my son had been able to arrange for a new gardener and was unaware that the grass had gotten a little high. In terms of the trash can, it was behind a fence and behind shrubs.
21,
but,
I'm pretty sure they probably posted the property.
Yeah, but I wasn't there, so no one was there. My son lives in North Carolina. So it was being taken care of remotely.
And the person taking care of it doesn't notice postings on the property?
No, it wasn't a property manager. It was just a gardener, Yeah, no one even, it wasn't, it was done by mail. I don't think it was
Hold on
posted.
1 second, Mr. Noble. How many cases under this owner?
22.
That's a lot of 22 cases of code enforcement?
I'm totally unaware of that, Your Honor.
Most of them for about the same trash and debris or yard waste being out.
Is this all the same property, or are these different properties?
That's all the same property.
The only thing it could have been, Your Honor, is if the grass got, a half inch higher than the normal, because then the neighbors would.
The city doesn't go after you for a half inch of grass.
Well, I'm unaware. I wasn't there. I didn't even know it had been, that anything had been sent out. The other thing,
even by the standards here, 22 cases is a lot of cases.
I was totally unaware that there were any cases.
When I hear 22 cases, I hear a property that's being neglected.
I honestly, you can ask Marcus if the property's in good shape. It's,
It has to be now, because you can't come to code enforcement for a reduction if you're not in compliance. I presume it's in compliance now.
do we have any, I'm not aware that there were 22 cases. Do we have any pictures of what the problem was? The only other thing was rust on the sidewalk, which I had power sprayed a day after I was aware of the of the citation, but I never knew about 22, and all I knew of was one. Honestly.
All right, so the city has offered to reduce it to $9,475, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And sir, what were you asking for?
1,000.
I got to be honest, I'm not inclined to do that, not with 22 citations on the property.
Well, again, Your Honor,
In fact, I'll be really honest with you, I probably wouldn't have gone as far as the city did.
But may I ask the question of when these citations were, or because I was
They're all
never
public
aware of them?
Yeah, they're all
honestly.
public record. I mean, the city sends them to the address that you put in the property records. So whatever the mailing address is that you put in the property records is where the notices go. Do you know what that address is?
Yeah, 6401 Washington Road. But I was stuck out of the country for 2 years. If they sent them during that period of time,
there's a lot of people in this area that are outside property owners, but they're still responsible for maintaining their property, and the vast majority do.
This is I've actually come into the office many times, and I was never apprised that there was 22 violations.
I'm willing to reduce the $37,900 to the city's offer of $9,475. Do you need a certain amount of time for that?
No, I'll take care of it immediately because I'm going to sell the place anyway.
All right, I'll give you 30 days.
I'll pay it today, no problem.
All right, in case CE 210604441, I'll reduce it from $37,900 to $9,475 payable within 30 days. Good luck, sir. Go ahead.
Case number 34, CE 220600314, case address 342 Malverine Road.
All right, Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Agenda item 34, case number CE 220600314, 342 Malvern Road, was originally cited June 24th of 2022 for overgrowth on the property as well as trash and debris present. This went to a special magistrate hearing October 19th, 2022. It was ordered for the fine to start as of November 10th, 2022. That fine ran at $100 a day for 543 days for a total of $54,300 and was complied on May 6, 2024. Service in this case was achieved by way of posting as well as regular mail. This was done, appears to be done under the previous owner. So the city requests a reduction to 15% of that lien, magistrate, which will be $8,145.
Sir, can you give me your name, please?
Hi, good morning. Timothy Glass, counsel for the estate. We're here today. The issue with this case is the prior owner passed away in March of 2022, and it was some time before we even received the notice from the city. The notices were being mailed to the property, and obviously the individual had passed away. And the beneficiary of the estate was the niece of the deceased, and it was probably at least 3 or 4 months before we received the notice. Actually, I'm sorry, 3 or 4 months before she was able to get access to the property, there were squatters in the property, and we immediately started taking care of the property. The issue was, she didn't know that there was a code violation against the property, so while she was maintaining it, she didn't have notice of the lien. So the property was being maintained the whole time, and then she first received notice from not the city, but from the lender. And we have receipts for the, to show that we've been maintaining, that the property was being maintained within a couple months, but she just never reached out to the city to let them know that it was in compliance. And, even over the last couple years, the grass has been being cut and the property's been being maintained. She just never knew that that she had to notify the city because she didn't know that there was a lien on the property.
So you represent the owner that bought it from her?
No. What happened is whenever the property was sold, they were required to escrow money. So the property, the lien is not the issue of the new owner. The issue is still the burden of the niece who sold the property.
So who do you represent?
I represent the niece, the estate.
Okay, but the niece is no longer the owner of the property.
That's correct, but it's still her burden, her obligation to settle
You had to escrow money when you sold the property.
That's correct.
So
Yeah, so we're asking for in the original application, we were asking for the lien to be reduced to $3,000. And, today I would even ask it to, I guess $3,000 we would certainly accept. I had another case just a month ago that was almost identical. I could give the address if it's necessary. That fine was actually $81,000 and got reduced to $2,000. So I guess I'm also just asking for some consistency in the ruling and in the reduction.
Well, I mean, it's a case-by-case determination, and every case is different, so.
Sorry.
So the petition was for a reduction to 3,000, the city has offered 8,000. What's the city's response to the 3,000?
Magistrate, the city would counter with 5,000 to reduce the fines to.
Mr. Glass?
Well, I appreciate the city working with us. Again, I would just like to point out that literally it's just been 1 month and the cases are incredibly, incredibly similar, where the other case a month ago was for a property
Mr. Glass,
on.
I'm not going to take evidence on a case that's not in front of me.
Okay.
And there literally are hundreds, probably thousands of fine reduction cases over the course of time, so
Well, maybe
there's
we can
no real
agree to-
merit in me trying to do that.
Maybe we can agree to reduce to 4,000.
The city would remain at its counter offer of 5,000.
Tell you what I'll do. I'll cut it to $4,500 payable in 30 days.
Thank you.
Case number 35, CE 230-70058, case address 417 16th Street.
Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Agenda item 35, case number CE 230-70058. This case was originally cited July 5th of 2023. They were cited for overgrowth on the property, trash and debris, fence and wall that was needed to be repaired, rotten wood on the exterior of the property that needed to be also repaired, trash can in view of the public, as well as obstruction of the right-of-way or the sidewalk and parkway, and side needed in the yard and parkway as well. This went to a special magistrate hearing August 16th of 2023. It was ordered for the fine to start as of September 16th, 2023. That ran at $250 a day for 325 days for a total of $81,250. and was complied August 6th of 2024. Service in this case was achieved by way of posting as well as regular mail. This was done under the same owner. To date, they have about 3 cases with code enforcement under their ownership. So the city requests a reduction of 25% of the lien magistrate, which would be a total of $20,312.50.
Sir, can you tell me your name, please?
That's Benjamin Bieber.
Did you say Beaver?
Bieber.
Bieber.
B-I-E-B-E-R.
Like the singer.
Yep, like the singer.
Mr. Bieber, what's your relation with the owner, Rogue Real Estate Services?
I'm one of the members of the LLC.
All right, what are you asking me for, and why should I grant it to you?
So we're asking for a reduction of the lien, to pick a number, I'd say about $2,500. This, let me just first start by saying that we're not professional investors. This property came through as an opportunity. We purchased it, hoping to improve the neighborhood. We had a substantial amount of issues with the property. The photos of the trash that you saw, referenced there. There were a couple members of the neighborhood that, were dumping trash basically in our front yard regularly. We would clean it up, post no dumping signs. The next day we would come back, there'd be a pile of trash. I think we were actually cited, one of those 3 cases, we were cited, as I was pulling up to the property, there were several couches, left in the street. And as the code enforcer was posting the notice on our door, I spoke to him, and said, these are, this is not us, this is someone else. And we came to find out the owner of the building next door happened to be there. We worked it out. It was one of the residents of that building who had basically dumped all the trash in their apartment.
The city says this was out of compliance for 325 days. That doesn't sound like a short misunderstanding.
Yeah, that's one instance, right, with the trash. The overgrowth, we saw the letter in August of 2023 that was that was an issue. That issue was corrected, within a week. And my partner, I guess, spoke to the code enforcer. We were under the impression that it was fixed. We had no idea that there was a fine continuing to accrue. Like I've said, we've had numerous issues with the.
I mean, to be honest, sir, it just sounds like you and your partners mismanaged this property.
It's been a very, very difficult situation. We've had a number of break-ins, people with the trash can, pulling the trash can. It was stored in the garage. People were kicking down the door, living in the garage. We'd come in, the trash can was outside. One of our landscapers got mugged while servicing the property. It's just been a real issue. We currently have the property under contract. We're selling it at a loss to someone in the neighborhood who's planning to come in and fix it up and live in it. So that's why we're asking for a further reduction, just so that we can, close the deal out without having any further financial devastation, and just be done with it and have it in the hands of an owner.
The city's offered to reduce it from 81 to 20. I can't go down to 2,500, not with this amount of time being out of compliance, but make me another offer, make me something a little more reasonable.
5,000, really whatever you could do. We're not, like I said, we're not professional house flippers or real estate investors. We're really just trying to get out from under this thing, and there's we're already taking a bath on it. So whatever you can do, 20,000 would be a very big issue for us. It would absolutely crush us. So if there's anything that you can do to get it down, into something below 10,000 would be just extraordinarily helpful for us.
Hold on 1 second. Tell me about the other code cases on this property.
Per the case notes, there was a case cited for a building or construction done without permits, and the property was abated for oversized bulk items that were stored outside the home or the property.
Was that you guys doing construction without a permit?
No, we haven't done any. That must have been.
That case open?
It was compliant, but it was one.
What year was that?
2023.
That must have been right before we bought it. I would guess. The only thing that we did was a new roof with a permit, and I would imagine the bulk oversize was probably had something to do. That's probably when we met the code enforcer out front, and the owner of the building across the street, basically came and talked to us, and the code enforcer went inside and said, "Hey, which one of you guys is dumping stuff in front of this house in the street?" Found the person responsible. They picked it up immediately and hauled it, and I think that the code enforcer cleared it, like literally right there on the spot.
Does the city have any flexibility on their number?
Magistrate, we would counter with 7,000 to reduce the fines too.
I think that's pretty reasonable.
I don't disagree.
Well, they were at 20, they went to 7. And you walked in here at 81.
Yeah, I think 7 we could, obviously 5 would be better, but if 7 is what it is, we can pay it to move on.
How much time do you need?
We're under contract to sell right now. We're hoping to close next week, so if we have 30 days, that would be perfect. We can pay it at closing.
All right, I'll reduce this from 81,250 to 7,000 payable within 30 days. Good luck. Back to 32, right?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Our last case is case number 32, CE 2008072. Case address is 1025 22nd Street.
Officer Williams, City of West Palm Beach Code Enforcement. Agenda item 32, case number CE 2008072. This case was originally cited August 7th of 2020. They were cited for clean and sanitary conditions, fence that was put up without a permit, as well as garbage can placed in the view of the public. This went to a special magistrate hearing September 16th of 2020. It was ordered for the fine to start as of January 15th, 2021. That fine ran at $200 a day for 1,286 days, for a total of $257,200, and was complied July 24th, 2024. Our service in this case was achieved by way of posting, certified mail, as well as regular mail. And before we get into anything further, we do have members of the CRA magistrate that's here that wanted to speak on behalf of the property and what's going on with that.
Correct. Good afternoon, Special Magistrate. My name is Pamela Ryan, and I represent Yannick Thomas, who is the owner of the property. We do want to let the CRA speak first, and if there's any more information that you need, I'm happy to speak more on the issue.
Let's hear from the CRA.
Good morning or good afternoon, Your Honor. My name is Gina Baker. I'm the Senior Project Manager for the Historic Northwest. Ms. Thomas is about to purchase one of the agency's properties. The name of the project is Styx Promenade. Ms. Thomas has been in business now probably 17 years plus. She's in the hair care business, and she's moving into the Historic Northwest. We are hopeful that you would consider a reduction in her fine, a substantial reduction, which we've, I think, pre-agreed upon, because Ms. Thomas does need financing and every dollar she can to close on the property. And with that, I'll turn it over to Ms. Thomas.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. So I am pleading and asking on behalf to please give me a reduction, and I'm going to explain to you why this started. And let me just state, I am a law-abiding citizen. By any means, never ever would I ever want to ignore a court order or audience for me to appear or of something of this serious. Honestly, I don't know how I missed this, but I honestly did not know. Anywho, I started a process. I was trying to buy one of the building in the city, so the CRA, the 6th program, to further my business because I am self-employed and have been, and that's how I've, sustained for my family and I. When I went to I started off with a refi. The lady from the title company reached out to me and told me that I had a lien on my house. Didn't sleep that night because I was not aware of that. I don't know, like I said, I don't know how I missed it. I'm not sure how that happened, but we can go back to 2020, but I didn't know anything about the lien. So I started the process of trying to get the lien removed. I'm now in compliance, and I just need to know if whatever I can do to get this lien reduced so that I can move forward and close this chapter so I can move on. Sorry.
Right, so as was
Can you tell me
mentioned,
what are you requesting?
I'm requesting, no, it's very small, $1,500, because that is all I can afford right now. I need all the funds to purchase this property, and I'm already not 100% there, so whatever you can do for me, I will, really appreciate it. But $1,500 I can pay today.
well, there was a conversation yesterday, Magistrate, where we had an agreement to reduce it to $5,000 payable within 1 year. So I'm not sure.
Mr. Magistrate, we would request a lower amount than that. I don't really want to go back to the actual violation, but I will say that in terms of the fence, this was a fence issue that the owners did not get a permit for. They did go get the permit, didn't realize that they needed to get plans drawn for the fence. So they did that as well. Then they didn't realize that they needed to come back and let the inspector know that they were in compliance. Apparently, there was, at some point, someone came out before that time and gave them there was an affidavit of noncompliance that's in the file, but I have confirmed that it was never given to the owner, so the owner did not know that they were not in compliance, and that's why the fine is so high at $257,000. It's not because they were flouting it or disregarding the notice of violation. I think that happens to a lot of citizens, and we're just asking that you allow Ms. Thomas to use the money that you would get on the fine to reinvest into West Palm Beach. She has been an owner for 18 years. She's been a small business owner for 17 years in West Palm Beach, and she is trying to expand her business into the CRA. And I think it should stand for something that the CRA came to speak on her behalf, to let you know just how important this is to her, her family, and her business partner, who is also here as well. This is very important to them.
What's the city think? Do you need a minute?
Because the CRA intervened, we asked for, we thought we had agreement for a 98% reduction on the same owner who had the violation, which is quite substantial. But so I'm thinking that that's a good deal at $5,000. It's from $250,000 basically, but I'll throw it at your feet, I guess.
So I guess I'm confused. Did you not, you didn't have a deal to reduce it to 5,000? Because the city seems surprised by your position.
I'm surprised by the 5,000. I was not aware of that discussion.
Who did the negotiation?
I did. Let me speak up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I had a conversation with Marcus yesterday, and I was trying to get the fine down as much as possible because any dollars that she has will go into her business. While I said $5,000 is agreeable, that at the end of the day is not for me to determine.
I mean, I'll tell you, in most cases, I probably wouldn't be willing to reduce it to 5,000, despite the equities here, just because it's such a small percentage of the overall amount that's due. I mean, the city's offer was actually pretty good. I mean,
And I understand that. It is a good deal, but again, this is money, she's refinancing. And the point of refinancing is to put money back into the city, back into the CRA. It's not one of those situations where she's selling to someone else. She's investing in this city, and she's just asking for some consideration of that.
well, I mean, to be honest, most of the people that especially secondary investors always tell me that, they're revitalizing the city or they're doing something, and I believe you, I do.
Not
And
secondary.
and that's really why I would consider the 5,000, but I'll take a little bit off of that. I'll tell you what, I'll do it to 3,500. How much time do you need?
Can the year stand?
Are you guys okay with a year? All right, we'll tell 12 months, 3,500.
We appreciate it. Thank you very much.
I think that's it, right?
That is the last case on our agenda today.